Welcome aboard the Love Boat.
Love, exciting and new. I'm aboard. I've been expecting you. The Love Boat.
Soon I'll be making another run.
It's a love. Welcome aboard. It's love. Yeah!
Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world joining us today. Super excited to have you join us. I am Marcia Patrick. I'm the Director of Sales for Western United States and Canada. I'm super excited to have you here today. Carmen is not going to be joining us. She had a little minor family situation, so she won't be joining us. It's more often that we're not together now, so I can't wait till we can be together sometime soon. Hey, Gary from Holsma, Gary Holsma, greetings from Yorkshire. I love seeing all these. You guys come right in. Like even before we're started, I can start to see you guys giving your information, telling us where you're joining us from. You guys always know, like I'm just going to say hello and where I'm joining from. So great to have you here. Super excited to share some great information with you today. As always, we're going to do some housekeeping first. So number one question we get is, are we recording it? The answer is always yes. And then after we have gone live, soon after, maybe a day or two later, we're going to put the recording on OneSource under our training section. Always at the end, we stick around and do a Q&A. We try and answer some questions like throughout the presentation. But then I personally go through the pre-registration questions, and I always pull out some of the most frequently asked questions so we can answer those at the end as well. QR code alert. You know, if you've joined us previously, that we love to use a QR code. Nice and easy. You just whip out your cell phone, open it to the camera and scan over the QR code. Click on the little gold bar that pops up for you, and it's going to take you to whatever information we're trying to share with you. So nice and easy. I am super excited to announce that the Global Travel Magazine just announced their Leisure Lifestyle Awards for 2025. It's voted on by the readers of the Global Traveler. And guess who was named #1 in Alaska for 2025? Yep, Princess Cruises. We're super proud of this award. #1 in Alaska, yet again, in another place. But, you know, we don't rest on our laurels, and we do not take this for granted. It is because of you all and your clients that we can stake our claim as #1 in Alaska. And we thank you so much for all your continued support and the fact that you always vote us #1. But that's not it. We had some other wins as well. So we also won Best Large Ship Cruise Line, which is phenomenal, Princess, for 2025. And then we also had Best Cruise Line Entertainment for 2025. Very exciting awards. And then, okay, we're going to mention it. We came in second. That's not too bad, but we came in second for Best Cruise Ship Shore Excursions. I personally believe we should be #1, so hopefully that's a little different next year. But we can't thank you enough for your votes, your confidence in Princess. Also, I want to mention that tonight I am going to be attending the WAVE Awards in Marina Del Rey with North Star. And I'm super excited because we are also nominated for #1 in Alaska again. We've got other nominations as well. So I'm hoping we come home absolutely with Alaska, but I hope we also have the opportunity to win in other categories as well. More to come on that. So what are we going to be talking about today? So today we're going to go over 2027 Europe, which is open right now for our loyalty guests. We're going to do an itinerary overview. We're going to look at the early booking offer. What are the dates? What can you get if you book early? We're also going to do new destinations that are on sale. So just a quick review of 26, 27 South America. Reminder about Southeast sailings. Carmen did a webinar about 2 weeks ago that covered our South America offerings. And then we're going to talk about the new total Solar Eclipse cruise for 26, because we've always had an offering there, but we've got a new offering for you. And then we'll also cover the latest limited time promotions and then leave time for Q&A. So let's get going. So we're all here. You all signed up so that you can hear and learn all the great information that we have to share with you about Princess's Europe itineraries in 2027. We have a very special guest joining us. Miss Debbie Holbrook is our Director of Deployment and Itinerary Planning for Princess Cruises. She's been our guest before, and I'm always excited to have her join us. Hello, Debbie.
Hello, Marcia. Thank you so much for having me. I really love to be able to come and talk about all the new things that we're doing at the company, as well as our amazing cruises for Europe.
Absolutely. I mean, you're such a welcome colleague. I always just get excited when you come and join us, because I can just sit back and click the button and you take the wheel. So I love that.
I'm lucky too, because I think I have one of the best jobs in the business, and being able to
You really
decide
do.
where our beautiful ships go. And it's just
I agree.
something incredible. I look forward to every day.
I agree. It's got to be a fascinating job. All right. So we are here to talk about Europe 2027. And before we get into the details, I think we have a quick little video for you all.
All right, so here we are talking about our Europe 2027 program, which is open right now for our past guests, as well as opening group space. So right now, and then it will open to the public next week on June 10th. So you have a little bit of a preview here, as well as the big announcement will be coming next week as well. It's a massive program. We have over 200 departures to over 30 countries, 107 destinations that these cruises visit, which in that includes up to 108 different UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which are iconic destinations recognized around the world for their educational value as well as cultural value. So they're definitely something that you should have on your list to visit. And then we have 5 ships that are going to be featured throughout the program in 2027.
That's a robust program.
And Marcia talked about a lot of the great awards that Princess has recently been winning, as well as what the big news will be for tonight, is that we also are quite popular in 2027. And why this should be your destination to visit is because we're award winning for Europe. We have the best cruise line itineraries from Recommend Magazine, many times that we've won this award, and then including awards in the Mediterranean, as well as best cruise line in Europe by the Travi Awards. So there's many more awards over the years that we've won, and it just goes to that these ships and these sailings that we provide are just not to miss.
And I'm going to shout out you and your team, because the itineraries you guys provide are amazing. Like, you can get a lot of, like you said, UNESCO sites. You're very conscientious about trying to stay late or doing overnights in different areas. So shout out to you and your team, because you always wow us with the best itineraries.
Thank you. So how big is our program in 2027? We have measured the miles. And so this program, you can go click it once, is over 275,000 nautical miles. And if you add that all up, that's 11 times around the world. So it's a massive
that's
program.
incredible.
Mm-hmm. And we want to highlight where our cruises are going to be departing from in 2027. In Northern Europe, we have departures out of Copenhagen round trip, as well as in Southampton, we have sailings. And then when you head down to the Med, there's a variety of options, including Barcelona, Rome, Athens, and Istanbul. So lots of options. And there's some of these are round trip, some are open jaw, which means we leave one port and we finish the cruise in a different port. So there's just so much variety to be able to pick from.
Lots.
And let's take a look at all those ports. Over 100. So it says who's counting. We love counting. We love counting and seeing how many more ports we can go to each year. And this is color coded, so you can kind of see the voyages that go in the north to Iceland and Norway. So that's that kind of tan section. And then we have a lot of cruises.
Slide.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. And then the red is, you can just see how many ports in the Mediterranean that we visit. It's a ton of ports, and there's so much history and culture to be able to just walk amongst. It's not just see it from a distance. It's you get to live it and taste it and drink it. I like to drink it too. So wines of the world, and especially in Europe.
Absolutely.
And then when we talk about Europe and why Princess is so such a partner for you to be able to bring your guests as well as come visit the destination yourself is we have three main sections. That is the Mediterranean and Northern Europe. And we'll talk about our passages a little bit later. And the Mediterranean is full of ancient ruins, beaches, and beautiful water. And of course, the food and wine, which I already mentioned. And we also have our British Isles program, which we sail for the whole season around the whole of the British Isles islands, and that includes going to castles, of course, going to lively pubs with live music, and the countrysides are just bright green and rolling, and there's those cute Scottish cows, if that happens to be something that you love to see, as well as just farmland and what whiskey distilleries, you name it. And then the last bit of our trifecta here is our Northern Europe program, which I mentioned that we were sailing out of Southampton for London as well as Copenhagen. And that takes you to medieval towns that are so much Viking heritage that you can see it everywhere you go, where it's modern meets ancient. And the Vikings literally are as ancient as you can get as far as some of the civilizations that were in Northern Europe. And these fjords that you sail up to visit some of these destinations are something you can do right from the deck of our ship. And here's our fleet. So like I mentioned, we have 5 ships in Europe for 2027, featuring one of our newest ships, which is Sun Princess. She's the newest ship sailing right now, and she has 4,300 guests with over 1,500 balconies, and she'll be sailing in the Mediterranean. We'll talk a little bit about our itineraries in a little bit, but she's joined by some amazing ships in our fleet, including a lot of sister ships. So Sky, Majestic, and Enchanted are all sister ships, and they all carry over 3,600 guests, 1,400 balconies. Sky, Majestic, and Caribbean Princess, which is the 5th ship, will be in Northern Europe. And then Enchanted will be joining Sun Princess in the Mediterranean.
I see a theme here with all of these amazing balcony opportunities, right? Like every ship has so many balcony opportunities, and it's really the way you want to see the world.
So first up, we're going to dive right into our program, and it's going to be the Mediterranean. We have a massive program with the 2 ships I mentioned, and then we have other ships that kind of make a peak attendance as well. And our main program on Sun Princess is the series of 7-day itineraries, which we'll talk about a little bit about each one. This first one is sailing between Athens and Barcelona. It's offered the whole season, and there's just so much opportunity to be able to visit a lot of UNESCO heritage sites, like I mentioned. And here we're highlighting 2 ports, which includes Corfu, which is in Greece. However, what's really neat about this destination is it has so much Venetian just influence. So the buildings look like you're in Italy, yet you're in a city in Greece, which is a really neat experience. And then also we sailed to Messina, Sicily, and you talked about all those balconies. One of the things I always remember about sailing through, it's called the Messina Straits, which is between the boot of Italy and the island of Sicily. There are fishermen out there on these massive, tall pole ships, and they have a lookout, and somebody's up at the top looking for swordfish, and you can see these as you're sailing through. And this tradition of fishing in that way goes back centuries and centuries. So it's something neat you can watch from your balcony or up on the deck to be able to see Europe at work.
Amazing. Is Bar new?
That is a good question. So Bar is in Montenegro, which if you're familiar with our Mediterranean sailings, we often go to Kotor, which we're still going to this season. But Bar is another destination in Montenegro that we'll be visiting. It's newer for a princess. We've been visiting it this year, and we also in 2024. So Sun Princess will be continuing to visit there. It's beautiful. It's on the Adriatic Sea, which is just beautiful water in itself.
Amazing. That's interesting. I've been to Kotor, but I hadn't seen Bar.
Yeah.
We like to keep it fresh.
We're always looking for new destinations. So whenever we have an opportunity, we'll grab right onto it and get that into our program. Our second, this is also on Sun Princess. So this is a second featured 7-day itinerary that is all season. This one lives in the Western Caribbean, and this is great because you get to go to Italy, France, Spain, and Gibraltar, which is at the very tip of Spain as a British territory. So you kind of get a little bit of a lot just going to this one sailing. And some of the great parts, you can see Pisa, which of course the Leaning Tower of Pisa is iconic. As part of our shore excursions program, you can book a tour that can take you up inside. And it's unreal to walk up the stairs that are inside the Pisa of the Leaning Tower, because you can see that the stones have been worn on one side versus the other because everybody's walking along the wall, of
Yes.
course. And it's kind of a neat to realize how many people have walked in the steps that you were doing for this really, really amazing,
Wow.
iconic destination. And then, of course, you got to go out and stand far away and do your I'm holding up the building picture, of course, too.
And that's a
So,
special opportunity because last time I was there, it was closed for renovations. So it's open again, right?
yeah.
And
So,
it had been
yeah,
closed, I think, for a couple of years. And now it's back open.
and it's amazing to learn about, because of course it was built to be straight, but then the ground
Yeah.
started shifting. And so it has this slight 5-degree tilt that
Yeah.
they're always working, like the restoration, to make sure it doesn't tilt anymore. So that's important.
Right.
As well.
Right.
And then, of course, you see the Colosseum on the right in Rome. And what I really love about Rome is you're just walking around kind of on a modern town, in a modern city. And suddenly there's a column laying on the ground right where you're walking. So it's
so
centuries
true.
old with modern right there. And it's a really neat experience to be able to do.
I'm also going to suggest that you do ankle strengthening exercises. So
Yes.
a lot of cobblestone. And at the end of the day, my ankles would be aching. And I was like, why are my ankles hurting? And it's all the uneven cobblestone.
You're right.
Yeah.
I would have to put my feet up after all that walking because it is, you want to see it all. So you got to go
Right.
quite quick. And this is the third of we have 3 voyages on Sun Princess that run the entire season, one after another. And this is the third one that focuses more on the eastern side of the Mediterranean. And this one is between Rome and Athens and visits the island of Crete, which is a part of Greece, but it's also old history. That what we have on the right it's the Minoan civilization, which was one of the oldest advanced civilizations since the beginning of time, like 1900 BC. We're talking that this civilization was popular and just at its height. And you can go walk and see some of these amazing destinations there. And then on the left side, of course, is the Acropolis. It is hoisted above the city of Athens. So almost anywhere you're at in Athens, you can look and see this rocky top structure where there's all these old ancient buildings that you can walk along. And my favorite part, I don't know about other people, is there's so many cats. So I like to take
There
selfies.
are.
And the Parthenon and me. So there's lots to see up there.
So true.
And we talked about these 3 7 days. What's really amazing and convenient is you can choose your own adventure here. So you can do a 7-day on its own, add it to two of them together to make it 14 days. These are all open jaws between Rome, Athens, and Barcelona, and you can go back and forth, or book all 3 of them and you get a round trip destination experience where you can leave round trip from Rome, Barcelona, or Athens and experience all of this.
I'm glad you went over that because I think one of the top questions I get, a while ago we had 10, 11, and 12 day, right? And so since we switched to the 7, we often get the question of why we don't offer the 10, 11, or 12 anymore in a round trip way. But you just explained it. You actually can build it yourself. Right. Mm-hmm. And then we also have cruise tours, right? We have land portions that can go along with these 7 days. So you can spend more time on land in a location and then take your cruise and vice versa.
You're right. And then we also have, so those were our open jaw offerings that are in the Med. We also have Enchanted Princess, who is sailing round trip Rome sailing. So say you want to start and end in the same place. You want to see so much of Rome beyond your sailing. These are your options here. And so one of them focuses on the Eastern Med and goes to Kusadasi and Santorini in Greece. And then the other one focuses more on the Adriatic, which includes Croatia. So Dubrovnik is incredible to see. Walking the old city walls above old Dubrovnik is a really unique experience that I definitely recommend. And then just similarly, like those 7 days we put together on Sun, we can put these 2 7 days together as well. And you can have a 14-day that experiences all of that. So those are all summer long as well.
What's really nice about being able to link these is that you're creating kind of your own itinerary basically, and you're not repeating anything, right? It's pretty incredible how you guys have been able to put that together.
It's part of the crafting. And you mentioned some of those longer sailings. So something a little bit different and built out for 27 is a lot more open jaw options where you leave one city and come back to a different of 10 and 11 days. And so these sailings have a ton of departure ports. This is just one example from Barcelona to Istanbul, but we have departures of these 10 and 11-day Mediterraneans that leave from Athens, Barcelona, Rome, Trieste, which is our gateway city to Venice, as well as Istanbul, which is shown here. And what's really neat, and we're going to keep talking about these balconies, is that Hagia Sophia, which is right here, it's perched above Istanbul. And when you're sailing in the Bosphorus, which is the way you venture into Istanbul to come to the port, you can see this from your balcony. You can see this from the deck of the ship. And then when you're docked at the port in Istanbul, which this is a state-of-the-art, brand new, they built it like maybe 2019, 2020 is when it was kind of really finished out, that it's a really amazing destination to be able to, the port itself. It's got restaurants and bars, and it's all right there next to the ship, which is really nice. And then from your ship, you can see this beautiful, iconic mosque it's had a lot of history. It was a Christian church at some point. It switches, of course, over the history of time, and it was a museum for a while, and now it's back to being a mosque, which through our shore excursion program, you can take a tour inside, which is really something unique to see as well.
Amazing. I'm going to just add, I want to share what Geraldine shared with us. So she said she booked a 10-day Athens to Istanbul for a client already, and that she's already made several groups for Europe 2027. So just a reminder that it is open. Open your groups now to lock in the best rates.
And then this next cruise that we're going to show you, this is it. This is the ultimate.
Ooh,
this is a 42-day. So we have multiple options throughout the summer of these 42 days and their round trip from different cities. I'm in love with Istanbul right now, so we're going to show our round trip Istanbul, but the other ones are very similar as far as departure ports. And again, I mentioned Trieste is our gateway to Venice. Venice is an unbelievable city to be able to visit. There's so much to see. You can have a coffee along the Grand Canal at a cafe. You can go to St. Mark's Square and take the beautiful pictures, visit the Doge's Palace, where it's just all this history that you can visit just from Trieste, which is a really unique experience. And then also shown here is Ephesus, which this is about 20, 30 minutes from Kusadasi, which is the port we visit in Turkey. And this was uncovered in the 1800s. So archaeologists were excavating. It was just a mound of dirt and grass and just the countryside. And they found what became this a massive excavation that you can walk along now. And when you visit it, you either start at the bottom or you start at the top and just come through. This was a bustling port city because back in the original times, the water had come up to Ephesus. And this is the library, and you can walk through those openings and go onto the backside, which is really neat to see. So I highly recommend Ephesus if it's ever on any of your itineraries to visit.
Amazing. Also, I want to call out, because we get questions about this as well, about late nights. And this itinerary calls out that there's 7 late night port calls and then the overnight in Istanbul.
And anytime we call out a late night, that means we stay till at least 9 p.m. So it gives you plenty of time to go enjoy your meal, go experience a little bit of the nightlife in the cities that we offer it in, and then come back and your home aboard our princess ship is waiting for you.
Amazing.
All right, we're on to Northern Europe. So we have 3 ships based in Northern Europe that are 2 out of Southampton for London and then 1 out of Copenhagen. And they focus on the British Isles, Baltic, Scandinavia, Iceland, Norway. So there's so much to see. So let's take a look. First up is those British Isles sailings that I was mentioning, that circumnavigate the whole island, which is, you get Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, England. It's not to miss. And I've done it twice because I love it so much. There's so many places I haven't been, but I've done the British Isles sailings twice because it's just a unique experience.
It could be my, not recognizing this, but is it usually 12 days?
Yes. In recent history, we've had different lengths, and we do one-offs every once in a while. We'll even have a 7-day. So if your clients want a little bit shorter, there's a 7-day British Isles in this season. But our bulk of the program are these 12 days, which gives you so much experience into these different countries and regions of this world. And what's also really neat about it is in August is in Edinburgh is the military tattoo. And so this is a special excursion that you can book that takes you to the castle. So you can see the castle here. In the midst of the castle, they do an incredible military performance of all these different military bands from around the world. And
Yes.
of course, the Scottish Pipers is one of the biggest iconic parts about this, but it's also from all over the world, even Africa, United States, just all these different military regiments playing unique music and just such showcasing their talent that it's a really neat experience to do in this centuries old castle.
Amazing.
And then
I'm seeing some
Paris.
chatter going back and forth where people have this booked.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it because it's so much to see. And I kind of talked about why the British Isles was so popular earlier, and that's mainly one of it. And one of the unique things about it is we think British Isles, we don't think Paris, France, but every one of our 12-day British Isles does make a stop in Le Havre, which is our gateway city to Paris. And so you can go see the Eiffel Tower and see a little bit of Paris.
Amazing.
And here we are in the Baltic. So this is our Norway, Denmark, and Sweden sailings. And this is going to be on a little bit larger ship than the previous season. So this will be on Caribbean Princess. And this will run the whole season round trip from Copenhagen. And it's just just so much history that's in this region. And we're just highlighting a couple here, like Tallinn, Estonia. It's unreal to go visit these cities because they are centuries old. And this is the old town, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You walk along those cobblestones, so work your ankles again. And you're walking through little windy aisles and just coming to restaurants that have really taken kind of the historical significance and try to present what it was like living in this medieval city so many times ago. And then there's also much modern. So here we have Stockholm on the other part of the slide. Stockholm is built on 14 islands. So there's so much water. And one of the neat things is you can take these hop on, hop off boats everywhere and see all the different destinations and attractions around the city. And we offer this again all season long. And then we also have on Sky Princess out of London, a 14-day version of this. So a little bit different ports, but there are so many countries just in this 12-day alone. You can see the Baltic states such as Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and then up in the north, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. And what's also for our North American clients, English is like the main language as far as tourism is concerned. So you don't have to worry about that not being able to communicate with somebody. It is such an easy place to explore on your own, explore with one of our short excursion programs. It's not to miss. And then iconic pictures. This is Norway and Iceland, both on the screen. The Nordfjord is one of the iconic pictures that you'll see. And this is on your way to Olden. So the ship will sail through the Nordfjord heading to the destination of Olden, Norway. And you get to see this from the deck of the ship. And again, from those beautiful balconies that you booked. And then on the right side is the Iceland. Iceland has this circle route that goes all the way around the island. And so these waterfalls are located on that route. And it's so iconic to be able to be near that. And of course, the photography opportunities that's going to be all over your social media, I'm sure, if you have the opportunity to visit these waterfalls.
Amazing.
And we teased it a little bit earlier. So we have 2026 Eclipse cruises. We want to talk about our 2027 Eclipse cruises. This is a shot from our eclipse that happened last year. It was so popular that we thought we have got to bring it back. And what's very exciting about 2027 is that this eclipse is going to be, we're going to be out at sea, but of course it's going to go over the land as we're there. Once we see it, it's going to go across some land. It is going to be the longest eclipse to go across land until 2114. So this is the last chance thing to be able to see. And this eclipse is going to last over 6 minutes long. So that totality of the eclipse over 6 minutes. That's why nobody's going to see anything like this until 2114. over
Go
you
back.
can see that it's going over the land on the map there.
Yeah. This picture doesn't show it, but I saw pictures where our guest had like Princess Eclipse sunglasses.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we'll provide that. There'll be all this
Yeah.
enrichment activities on board.
Yeah.
And of course, there'll be cool swag to get that can commemorate your experience. I had friends that went on Emerald Princess last year, and they're already put a deposit down for, they did Majestic here because they are ready. They travel around. They travel around all over to go see the eclipses, and being able to do it on the ship, they said, is unbelievable because the ship can position, say there's a cloud, we can go elsewhere. So you can't do that on land.
Right.
And you can
Yeah,
see
that's
that
pretty incredible.
here on these two, the eclipse is going to go over the south of Spain and Gibraltar, and we're going to be positioned. Each ship is going to be positioned on the both sides. So it's just a really unique opportunity to be able to book this.
So cool. I highly encourage that this gets booked right away because it does sell out. I think our 26, the first cruise sold out right away, and then we ended up adding another one. So make sure you get your bookings made.
And this time we designed these two cruises ahead of it because we thought, oh yeah, one's going to be great. It was so popular, like you said,
enough.
we stopped everything and figured out a way to add some more to 2026. And then here you are in 2027 with just a 14-day cruise that is really going to really amazing destinations as well. So it's not just the eclipse, it's also all these amazing Mediterranean destinations. And then the one on Sky Princess is really heavy in Spain, as well as heading to France too. So there's just,
yes, it's like the solar eclipse is the cherry on top, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then these are all of the opportunities in 26, because we also have, like Marcia mentioned earlier, we have all those 26 sailings that are ready to be booked today. So we have as short as 7 days up to 21 days, and that's across multiple ships. We have Sun, Enchanted Sky, and not listed here are the other ships that are still, they're not going to have 100% totality, but every ship in Europe in 26 is going to experience some type of eclipse. So even our ship that's up in the Baltic, our Sapphire Princess will be sailing the Baltic Sea. She'll have 80+% totality. And then our other ship, which is our British Isles ship, will have over 90% totality. So every single ship will see some version of the eclipse. These specific ships will have 100% totality. So that's why these are our special ones.
Amazing. And newly added the 14-day med on Enchanted, which is August 4th, 2026. That wasn't in our original rollout, so we want to call it out because you might have missed it.
All right. So some other options in Northern Europe as well. This one's very popular, and we have a couple instances in the fall of our Oktoberfest European capital sailing. So this sailing leaves out of Southampton and heads up along to many countries. So we've got Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, as well as Norway once you leave, and France, of course. So many European capitals. The shots here of Berlin. So when you come into Hamburg, you have the opportunity, because there's also an overnight. So you have a lot of time to spend time in Hamburg, which is a beautiful city right on the water, as well as take the train in to go see Berlin. And Berlin, there's so much Oktoberfest going on that there's lots of opportunities to be a part of the festivities. And then on the right side here is Brussels. And so this is the Grand Place. And this is this iconic square in the middle of the city where it has all these old guild halls. That's what those buildings are. And they just have such different styles. It's so neat to be able to stand in the middle and just look around. And this is just one side of it. It's massive, and it goes all the way around you, this location in Brussels.
I think this got answered for Bill, but I just want to call it out because more people might have the same question. When we do the Iceland-Norway cruise, do you have an excursion to the Blue Lagoon?
Yes, we do. So definitely check out on princess.com, and you can pull up the Iceland ports on your voyage and see exactly what tours we're offering, and you can select before you book.
Right. Deneen has a question. It's we're going to cover a little bit of this next, but for these European sailings, considering tender boats, which would be the best itineraries for accessible traveler? So,
That is a good question. And majority of these sailings are mostly piers. So you don't
mhm,
have to worry about getting into the tender boats that
mhm,
there are so many voyages to be able to pick. And it generally
right.
would be kind of in the Mediterranean more where we might see a little bit more tender calls, but especially
Mhm.
Northern Europe, I'm trying to think of a tender
They're
call.
mostly port calls, right?
They're absolutely mostly port calls. And if you can pop that question away, like we'll look at this Oktoberfest one, every single destination on this voyage, for example, is a pier. And so you're not going on a tender boat. So there's just so many that you can choose from.
Amazing.
And then this is actually new for 2027. We have been for many years offering fall Northern Lights sailings. They're so popular that we wanted to add more. The Northern Lights aren't all the time, so we found a different time of the year that we can visit. And so these sailings will be in the spring, and we have two of
Mm,
them in March. And Marcia and I and a couple others on the sales team, we were on a cruise randomly heading to Vancouver, and there were Northern
yeah.
Lights there. So we
Yep.
got to see just a tidbit of Northern Lights. The Northern Lights
We did.
in the top of Norway are unbelievable. So this is our search for the Northern Lights sailings. We have 3 of them in 2027 on Majestic Princess, and they're not to miss. Norway is an incredible destination in itself, and you get to see places like Trondheim and Mold, and then you head up to the top of Europe and be able to visit and see Northern Lights.
Yes. And we have stories like our captains, they understand how important it is for people to see Northern Lights. We have stories where they'll make an announcement if it's happening in the middle of the night, right?
Mhm.
Hopeful that people can come out and actually take a view of it as well. They also have they'll have sometimes advance notice that it might be a certain time in the evening. So they do a really good job of trying to make sure that you will see some.
All right. And so we talked about the Mediterranean, we talked about all our Northern Europe, and then finally our crossings across the Atlantic Ocean, bringing us between North America mostly. We have a South American as well that will bring us back and forth at the beginning and the end of our Europe season. We just wanted to show you a couple of examples of these can be a couple weeks long. So here we have our 15-day Canary Islands and Morocco. So you can go to Casablanca and visit that amazing destination right there. And this is an example in the fall in November on Enchanted Princess. This one sails from Rome via Civitavecchia, which is our gateway to Rome, to Fort Lauderdale. So you can take this from Europe home to your United States home, or this is the ultimate 46 days. So we talked about that
Wow.
these longer itinerary sailings early or Mediterranean sailings earlier, you can add that onto a crossing. And so this is a 46-day crossing from Southampton, which is our gateway for London, all the way to Port Canaveral, Florida. So that one's in September.
And look, it's so port intensive. You're seeing so much along the way. It's incredible. All right, so let's talk about the deal. So there is an early booking benefit. If you or the client books by June 16th, 2025, they're going to enjoy up to $400 in savings plus 40% off of the cruise fare. They're going to get a free room upgrade, and the deposit is reduced to $99. So there's also up to $400 additional instant saving per stateroom for past guests. So that's in addition to the early booking benefits. There's also an extra perk for those who have sailed with Princess previously. So it's an amazing deal. So make sure that, hopefully you looked at it, because we did announce this to our travel advisors early so that they could get a glimpse at it and see where you guys want to take out your groups, where you may want to go and actually invite some of your clients with you. You have until June 16th for this, best of the best deal. We want to remind you too that we always have Easy Air available. There are no customization fees. We are currently at being able to book 5 days before, 5 days after. That was longer in the past, and we had a system situation, and hopefully we'll get back to offering even longer before and after. But right now we're about 5 days. But Easy Air has a wealth of benefits to it, right? So you can, if you book are flexible, then you're booking that rate and you're not actually having to pay it yet. Non-refundable is typically a better rate but you are then locking in and paying for the air at that time. So there's lots of different reasons why you'd want to book Easy Air. We also give you the next port protection when you book air with Princess. So if you were to have a problem getting to the first embarkation port, that we assist you with your ability to get to the next port of call, that you're able to join the ship. So lots of good reasons for Easy Air. And I didn't even mention the pricing, but because we just sell so much air, we also have some really great prices for not just coach, but like economy plus, and also first and business. And then we talked briefly about our access program, but we do spend a lot of time and we make a lot of effort to make sure that not only that our ships are accessible, that we provide wheelchair accessible staterooms in all of our categories. It provides wider doors, roll-in showers and grab bars, distress arms. We have all-in-one kits for TTY. Assistive listening devices, braille signage, a path of travel access map. So medallion class cruising also makes that much easier for us. We do care about our clients who might need accessible assistance. We have to have an entire department dedicated to this effort. We have the Princess Access Department. We also created a nice brochure on accessibility cruising with Princess. The QR code here is where you can find that information. And there is an email address for our access department, access office princess at princesscruises.com. So you could always email them and ask questions. But I would highly suggest that you also either download the digital version of the accessible brochure or order several into your office so that you can have it available for guests who might be interested in this opportunity. All right.
All right. So we're moving on from Europe to South America. And so this is our most recent season that we just opened in 26-27. And it's going to be Majestic Princess. So she's been through before, but this time she's going to dedicate her season there. And she's never been to Antarctica before. So this will be kind of a first ever for Majestic Princess to sail all the way down to the bottom of the world and visit Antarctica. And I've seen some of the videos that our captains send back from the experience in Antarctica. It's unbelievable. You see penguins, you see glaciers that are towering above the ship, which the ship is large. And then you have glaciers that are out there just even taller than the ship, that it's such a unique experience to be able to do that on board one of our ships. We have 10 different countries because it's a South America sailing as well. There's 17 destinations. And what's really neat about Majestic Princess is she just is going to be refurbished. So she has some of our newest popular destination on board. So you have the Catch by Rudy, you have the O'Malley's Irish Pub that she's freshened up already for this new season of 26-27.
Yep. And if you want to know, and we're talking about it a little bit here, but if you want to know even more about it, Carmen did a Connect with Princess just about 2 weeks ago, and it was dedicated to South America and Antarctica. So I recommend you go on to one source and pull up that video and watch what they had to share there. Was it someone from your team, Debbie, that joined us? It was Kyle.
Kyle
right?
from my team was the guest star. Yes.
Yes. So, but South America 26-27 also has an early booking benefit. So this is booked by June 14th because it opened up earlier. It's up to $1,200 in onboard credit per stateroom, up to $400 in shore excursion credit per stateroom. And then there's an additional $400 in onboard credit per stateroom for past guests. So again, if you sailed with Princess before, there's an additional benefit and kicker for you.
All right. And just to remind everybody, and a refresher is that we also recently opened Asia 26-27. And then we had another announcement where we added a second ship to Asia. So we have Diamond Princess and Sapphire Princess. They're sister ships, which is neat that they're both sailing in the region. Diamond's main voyages are round trip Singapore. And then Sapphire joins in with a lot of more open jaws going between Singapore and Yokohama, which is our gateway for Tokyo. And so with that, we have 37 destinations. So these are amazing itineraries that you can buy on a shorter level or add and get this really experience of pretty much almost every major destination in Southeast Asia. And we have 6 new sailings that are on Sapphire Princess that are available to be booking now.
I was super excited to hear we were adding a ship, because whenever we're talking to our travel advisors, one of the most sought after destinations is Asia, Japan specifically, but giving them a whole nother ship in Asia, I think is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, they were so popular that we thought, let's send another ship in doing slightly different itineraries to give even more choice.
Absolutely. All right. And then Southeast Asia has also the 2026-27 has a early booking benefit. Book by June 13th, and you enjoy up to $400 onboard credit per stateroom. All right. And then want to share with you that we have our brand new destination collection available. So it's been available for download digitally for a little while now, but we now also have the print version ready to order. I have one right next to me in my office. I love this brochure. It is so beautiful. And it gives you a glimpse of everything that Princess has to offer from spring 2026 to spring 2027. There's a QR code here if you want to go straight to where you can order the destination collection. It's a beautiful brochure. Our team and our inside trade marketing did a beautiful job. And then we also have Love Every Journey, which is a brand overview, and our cruise calendar. This is wildly popular. And honestly, I don't go anywhere that is work related without one of these in my bag, because it's a really easy way. Like if you had a client or a guest come to you and say, I wanted to do, Europe with Princess in August, what ships can I pick from? This is a very easy and easily read ledger. Down one side, it's got the month of the year. Across the top, it has the ships, and then the color coding is our product areas. So it's super easy to be able to guide someone who has some idea of what they want to do, but know exactly, to tell them what their options are in a very quick and easy way. There's a QR code for that as well. So Debbie, thank you so much. I know you're not actually leaving us yet. You're just going to pop behind the scenes until I come back to questions. But thank you so much. I mean, I always learn so much when I have you as a guest, and I hope that our audience does too. You're wildly popular, and I really do thank you for carving off your time to come and share your knowledge with us.
Thank you, Marcia. I love to talk about all of this. It's my favorite part of this business.
It's the fun part. So Debbie's going to go behind the scenes for a minute. I'm going to go through some news and notes, and then we're going to bring her back because we're going to answer some questions that you all have asked us in the pre-registration. So news, notes, and reminders. Just a reminder, we've been talking about this for a while now. I think over a year, we've been talking about our return to San Juan, but now it is so close. We can taste it. It's October of this year. We're offering the 7-day Southern Caribbean sailings. On that 7-day voyage, you're visiting 5 islands, which is the most of any 7-day itinerary. So if you have that guest who's visited the Caribbean quite a bit and they're looking for something different other than Eastern or Western, Southern Caribbean is amazing. It's only a week-long cruise. You get to visit Barbados, St. Lucia, or Martinique. And then there's 7-day options, which can be combined to make the 14-day as well. So this is fantastic for families. You can do a 7-day and really pack in a lot with your trip and kind of amortize your vacation time, right? And then also, so we have a new offer that is $200 air credit per person. So one of the things we heard from talking to our travel advisor partners was that the air could be kind of cost prohibitive for San Juan. So we have built in a $200 air credit per person on bookings for balconies and above since May 28th through June 11th. So, and it's on select cruises departing from San Juan. There is a QR code listed there in the bottom left, so I'll linger here just a second. And it would give you a voyage list where you can find that $200 air credit per person for these San Juan sailings. All right, I think I've said this before, but I might have a new audience. Did you know that Princess is turning 60? 2025 is our 60th year in business. We look good for 60, I think, right? 60 is what, the new 30 maybe? Right? So we're really only 30, but we are actually 60. So we had to change our 60th anniversary cruise. We were sailing that in the fall, and we had to move that to March 7th. And that says 25, but it's actually 26. So we'll have to update that on our slide, but it's 7-day 60th anniversary Mexican Riviera. It's a round trip Los Angeles. We've got the amazing Temptations joining us to perform, and we've got Jill Whelan, who played Vicky Stubing, and she is our celebration ambassador, who's going to be on that sailing as well. And we've got more anniversary events that are going to be announced for that itinerary coming soon. All right, so May 1st through June 30th, right now through the end of the month. I can't believe we're already in June. The year has sped by. May 1st through June 30th, we have been offering up to $400 instant savings, the free room upgrade, and then the reduced deposit, and then up to 40% off cruise fares as well. And then I don't want you to forget that our Canadian residence rate offer has been extended, and it's now running through July 21st. It's 10% instant savings, April 7th through July 21st. It's on select voyages from 2025 to 27. There are over 300 voyages where this applies as well, and combines with most of our current public offerings. And it's just something to say that we love our Canadian partners, our travel advisors, as well as our Canadian guests. And we realize that sometimes the exchange rate can be a bit of a prohibitor. So hopefully the 10% instant savings is also helpful. Here's the QR code here for you for the flyer and the voyage list as well. And please remember to follow Carmen on Facebook. So it's not listed on her name. It's facebook.com/princessvpsales. And that's where you will find Carmen. She announces lots of great things about Princess offerings. Sometimes if we are opening our Connect with Princess up to consumers, you will see information there, but she shares lots of information about deals, our opportunity to have these Connect with Princess with our trade partners, lots of great information there. And I highly recommend that you follow her. All right, so we are down to the nitty gritty, and we're going to start answering some of the questions that you guys asked us in the pre-registration. And if I can see some other questions on the side, I might answer those as well. So Debbie's joined me back. All right, so the first question we had was, will we be able to reserve group space on these itineraries? Absolutely, yes. It is actually already open for you. So anytime we start the loyalty week for product opening, you are now also able to open a group. So as soon as loyalty opens, you can also open a group.
I did see a question in the chat asking about which ships are doing our Baltic, which is our Norway, Sweden, and Denmark sailing. So in 26, that's Sapphire Princess. And then in 27, Caribbean Princess will be taking over for Sapphire.
Oh, that's why. Okay. I did see that question too, where they were like, is it Caribbean or Sapphire? Thank you for clarifying that. All right. Will you ever add more unique open jaw itineraries? I thought this is perfect after
very perfect.
You just gave.
Very perfect, because yes, we, as many know, we do a lot of the 7-day open jaw itineraries, which we talked about, where you could put them all together. We have so many opportunities with the 10 and 11 days, which I think when I counted it up for this question, I think there's 37 departures of 11 different open jaw itineraries, starting and ending in different ports with different content. So there's so much ways to see 2 amazing gateway cities, as well as the content in between.
Absolutely. Leslie, thank you for reminding me. So I just landed us on the QR code page so that while we're talking and answering questions, you guys have another opportunity to get to those special brochures. All right. Are there any plans for a print version of a travel advisor guide? It's actually a good question, because I've seen that some other brands offer this. So the closest thing we have to that right now is the How to Grow Your Business with Princess, which is an amazing brochure. It doesn't have all the things that I've seen included in a travel advisor guide. So our next attempt at that, maybe we will add some other things to it, because I think we do have a really good solid foundation for it. And then maybe we can add a couple more things to make it more like a full-fledged travel advisor guide. But in the meantime, I think you should download that How to Grow Your Business with Princess, or order it, because it's in print available as well. Where can I find your special single rate fares? Yeah, so in pre-registration, there were quite a few questions about this. So I wanted to pop this question up. We have a list of voyages that have special single rates. So typically our single rate is 200%. There are some voyages where we will vary that. It could be down to just 100% to 150 to 175. If it is less than 200%, it is on that list. It's on our OneSource. And I also saw someone answered this question for you guys in the comments and told you specifically where to go. But know that it is definitely in OneSource. All right. April wants to know which 7-day cruise would be the best to give. Would be the best to give excursion for a couple of beach days, Italy and Greece.
That's a good question.
I know there's several in the Med.
Yeah, and then definitely the voyages that include Santorini or Mykonos. Dubrovnik has beautiful beaches as well. So Enchanted Princess has a 7-day that visits Dubrovnik. The Mediterranean's just the color of the water is so beautiful that there's so many beach opportunities in a variety of these cities that normally are thought of for either their ancient architecture like Crete and so there's lots of opportunities.
We have a couple that are actually titled Greek islands, like it'll say Mediterranean Greek Isles. And so I would say you probably want to steer yourself in that direction. Mm-hmm. All right. I think we are done with the questions. Thank you again, Debbie. Thank you to yourself and your team for all these beautiful itineraries and then taking the time to go through the announcement of 27 with us. Like I said, I always learn a lot, and I know that the audience is learning with you. And we can't thank you enough for all the hard work you guys do to deliver these beautiful itineraries.
Well, thank you for making me feel so welcome. Thank you for the great questions from everybody. Really appreciate it. I have so much interest in what we do here at Princess.
Thank you. And remember those dates, guys, on remember the dates for the early booking so that you can get your guests booked and get them some extra perks along with it as well. Thanks, Sandy. I see Sandy in there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you soon. Oh, one quick thing before we end. I'm sorry. We're going to move to, for a temporary time period, we're probably going to be doing these once a month. So we've been on a cadence of doing them once every 2 weeks. We're going to move to doing these once a month. So the next time we see you will likely be in July, but you will get a notification. Again, follow Carmen on Facebook because we always share the next sets of webinars on that site. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
About Alaska.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I saw someone asking about when it will be coming. So keep your eyes peeled for the summer. That will be coming out this summer.
Alaska 27, probably?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you to our travel advisor partners and any consumers that might have taken their time to join us today. We can't do this without you. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your week, guys, and a great weekend.
Goodbye.